All right, let's discuss more on the legacy of Dr. Adesina with Professor Banji Oyelaran Oyeyinka, who is the Senior Special Advisor on Industrialization to the President of the Africa Development Bank. It's great to have you on the show, sir. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. So I knew you worked closely with Dr. Adesina. What was it like working with him?
Oh, it's difficult to describe. You are constantly in an environment of high speed, a constant environment of relentless pursuit of what is best and good for Africa. Dr. Adesina is a human hurricane. It's very well known by many in the bank and outside that he doesn't sleep. We call him renewable energy. He doesn't relent, whether on the plane, whether in the office, whether at home. It's all about work and all about what is good for Africa, why we must not waste any minute. It's been a fantastic pleasure working with him. I'm not sure I've worked with any leader of this in this mode. He's an inspiration to the staff. His passion, his leadership in crisis, like you mentioned, for example, during COVID, was unprecedented. The president quickly rallied all of us, came up with this $10 billion facility, and also the $3 billion social bond. But more remarkably was actually the way the whole thing was executed. We were meeting every week. Recall that there were 54 countries in Africa, and we were meeting every week for hours on end to prepare the facilities for each country. We met for 26 weeks, non-stop. And he was sharing. Sometimes we are there for 12 hours. You start in the morning and you don't end until we fulfill the goal for that day. So that's Dr. Akinwumi Ayodeji Adesina.
Thank you so much for painting that picture, for us. But, we know the COVID period was obviously a very trying time, that needed quick decisions to meet up with, new challenges. For you, what are some of the outstanding decisions that the bank had to make to navigate, through that period?
Exactly. And I mentioned those two. One of them was this $10 billion response to support all countries. You remember, supply chains were disrupted, countries were locked down, famine, food insecurity, vaccines were not available, drugs were not available, and so we needed to respond. And he responded. While some people were wringing their hands, he responded immediately with that facility. And also the US-denominated social bond of $3 billion that was also initiated to actually work towards alleviating poverty and actually looking at all those areas that normally traditional concessional money doesn't go to. But one of the more long-lasting institutional arrangements that evolved out of COVID was what we call the Africa Pharmaceutical Technology Foundation, which came up to mitigate the longer term, not just the immediate. The president and staff came up with this institution that's now based in Rwanda. And the whole idea is to ensure that Africa doesn't find itself in that particular situation again in the future. The APTF is configured to negotiate intellectual property rights, to ensure that we have access to knowledge, to ensure that countries are able to also manufacture their own APIs, and so forth, and also to train people to respond to such situation in the future. So that's the more long-lasting solution. But as I told you, there was no let-up for 26 weeks. All of the countries got their budget support. It was an incredible period, and it made a lasting impression on all of us about his leadership, about the kind of passion he has for the poor and the hungry and the sick. It was a time that many people were in despair, but we turned that despair into a time of action.
And definitely that's not left our minds, so far. But before I let you go, the work of industrializing Africa, not an easy one. Any idea on the plans of Dr. Tar?
I have no doubt, because by the way, we worked with Dr. Tar, Dr. Sidi Holter, when he was the president of Badia, and he supported us a lot. African Development Bank, one of the strengths of that bank is the convening power it has to bring together partners into all kinds of alliances. For example, in the special agro-industrial processing zone that I've been leading with colleagues, Dr. Ta actually gave $300 million to the phase 2 of the Nigeria SAPZ without any pressure at all. It was, and also it brought Badia into what we call the Alliance for the Special Agro-Industrial Processing when he was in Badia as president. So I have no doubt in my mind that he recognizes the importance of industrialization. And as you know, the Special Agro Zone is one of the instruments for us to industrialize Africa. Any poor nation that wants to industrialize, first you have to modernize your agriculture. And that is actually the long-term mandate of the SAPZ. When you modernize agriculture, you begin to produce food at scale. You begin to add value to your produce. You also begin to be not just be, as we have now a situation in Africa, where we're importing foods that we should be producing. Africa has 65% of all uncultivated arable land in the world. So that is a target for industrialization, to ensure that we modernize our techniques and we use tools that others have used to get to the point of wealth. What has held Africa back is industrialization. And I have no doubt in my mind that the new leadership will continue to push for Africa's industrialization. We have no choice, really. If you don't industrialize, you remain poor. There is no other instrument used by any country throughout of history without the industrial dynamics to make sure that your country doesn't remain at the lower rung of the poor, right from the Industrial Revolution in the UK, right up to continental Europe, to the US, to the Asian tigers in Asia, Japan, right, and all of that. It's about industrializing. And industrializing for us equates to economic growth.
All right, definitely. I do wish the new leadership all the luck at this point to carry out this industrialization mandate, and we do wish Dr. Adesina the best, with his future endeavors. Thank you so much for coming on, Professor Banji Oyelaran, the Senior Special Advisor of Industrialization to the President, AfDB. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thanks for all your support over the years.
Thank you, sir.